shall set you free. Come on. Now let's go and look at this presentation together. Shalom. Now let's make sure all of us understands this. The Bible clearly mentions the Most High God created the world in 6 days. And on the 7th day, he rested from all his works. He created the 7th day by blessing it and by making it holy. And he commanded us to labor and work 6 days, but the 7th day was the day that we are supposed to cease from all of our work, and we must reflect on him by worshiping him. Meaning he blessed that day specifically for us to communicate with him. That is the date between creator and creation. Meaning that is the date between the Most High God and men. Divinity and humanity. On his day, the Sabbath. Now, to understand the days of the week, we have to go back to the original languages that were used then. And we need to understand, firstly, that the days of the week were originally numbers. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And the 7th day was a special day. That was the Sabbath day. The 7th day was always referred to as Shabbat. That word comes from the original language Hebrew. Now, let's go and look at how in the world we get from day 1, day 2, all the way to the 7th day of the week. Another question you should ask yourself, why did we sign a name for each day of the week? To answer this question, we have to go and know paganism, mythology. Because whenever we look at the two, we can clearly see that paganism had a great influence of the days of the week that we have today. So now the question that you're probably asking now is that the days of the week, do they have pagan origins? And to straight up answer your question, the answer is simply yes. Now, to understand the origins of the days of the week, we have to go back to the times of ancient Babylon. Why? Because the Babylonians, they had a great influence on the days of the week. And their culture was adopted by the Greeks and the Romans and many other places around the globe. The Babylonians, they used to stand on towers and they gazed up into the heavens and they were able to look at the sun, the moon, and they were also able to see 5 other visible planets, which are visible to the human naked eye. So gazing up to the heaven above, they were able to see celestial bodies in all type of different forms. These 5 different celestial bodies that they saw appeared to be the stars in the sky. But these were actually 5 planets. They took these 5 planets, the sun and the moon, and what they did was they began to name them after Babylonian gods. We all know the pagan origins of Babylon. They all began with Nimrod, and Nimrod was a big-time pagan. So what the Babylonians did, they named each day after a planet. And these planets, they received a name after the ancient Babylon gods. Until today, the planets that we see up in the sky, they were not given their names by coincidence. The names that were given to the planets, it was to signify or to represent gods that people used to worship in the ancient days. Paganism. Now, besides the sun and the moon, what are these 5 planets which were seen by the Babylonians? That is a good question. The 5 planets that were seen by the Babylonians was Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These were the 5 planets that could be seen by the naked eye. Next question. Which days of the week do these planets represent? Now stay with me on this one, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a very crucial point. Listen carefully. First, I want you to make note of this. In Hebrew, the days of the week are simply numbered, except for the 7th day, which is the Shabbat, the Sabbath day. In Arabic, the days of the week are also numbered, and the 7th day is still recognized as the Shabbat. But the 6th day is now referred to as El Jum'ah, and that is the day of gathering. That is the day when Muslims pray at the mosque on Friday, the 6th day of the week. Now, in modern Greek, the days are also numbered, and the 7th day is still the Shabbat, which is Sabbath. But the first day in Greek is now recognized as Kyriaki, which is the Lord's Day. The interesting thing is the 6th day in Greek is called the Periskrit, which is the preparation. And preparation is made on the 6th day before the Sabbath. On Friday evening, that is when the people do preparation for the Sabbath. Now let's go back to the days of the week. I'm going to take you to the cults which have been adopted by the Romans. The names of the days of the week, according to the planetary system, the names are as follows: Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. Now, I want you to make note of something very important here. I want you to make note that the sun came first before the planets. And since the sun comes first before all of the other planets, it would make a lot of sense, like if you would want to name the days of the week after the planets, the first day should be represented by the sun. And since the sun is greater than the moon, it makes sense that the sun must come first before the moon. And since the moon is looked upon as next after the sun, then it makes perfect sense to place the moon after the sun. In this case, the moon comes second. So that is the 2nd day of the week. Now, Sunday. This word comes from the Latin word solis. Des solis, meaning the Sunday. This was also recognized as the highest day of pagan worship, the day of the sun. Now, Monday, this one was named after the moon. This was called the Moon's Day, the 2nd day of the week. This was the worship day for the goddess of the moon. Now, Tuesday, this day was named after the Norse god. The Romans named this day after the Mars god, which we call this planet Mars, planet Mars. As far as the Mars god is concerned, if you look at Greek mythology, then the god of war, now you'll be looking at Ares. That is the god of war in Greek mythology. Now, Wednesday was made to honor Woden. That was named after the planet Mercury. Thursday. This day was named after the Norse god Thor, the god of thunder. And the planet it was named after was Jupiter. Friday, this day was sacred to the goddess Venus. Saturday, this day was named after the planet Saturn. This was Saturn's day. By the ancient Romans, they honored Saturn. Now clearly, by looking at the origins of the days of the week, we can clearly see that the sun comes first and the planet Saturn comes last. The sun is first before the planets, and Sunday is first of the week. Saturn is furthest from the sun, and Saturday is also last of the week. Can you see a clear pattern now, ladies and gentlemen? One more thing I wanted to bring to your attention. I want all of you to look at your calendar. What day does it begins with? We can clearly see that Sunday is first, and Saturday is all the way at the end, which is the 7th day. Now that we got a clear understanding of this, now that I have taken you through the origins of the days of the week, now I want to take you to a new section in this presentation, because this is about to get deep. Because now what we are about to look at in episode 3 is the historical evidence. Strictly world history. We are now going to look at the historical evidence that supports the transfer of the day of worship from day number 7 to Sunday. You're going to find out why the Christians abandoned the true Sabbath that the Most High had gave us since creation. You guys should be asking yourself, what could have possibly would lead Christians to abandon that day, the Most High's day, the Sabbath day of worship, to join hands together with paganism and worship on the day of the sun, on the great day of pagan sun worship. Now let us go and look at this historical evidence so we can truly understand that Sunday is not even close to being the Sabbath. Pay close attention in our next video, episode 3. Shalom.